When a 12-year-old girl was kidnapped by men who wanted to force her into marriage, she would find help in a very unlikely place. Or should we say, very unlikely beasts. 3 lions would find her and seemingly protect her until help arrived. So it's safe to say that today's story will shock you. Click the like button to help this video get to 10K likes and make sure to subscribe. Welcome to Wonderbot Animals. In the African savanna, lions stand out among wild animals, and they command both great respect and admiration. They are the embodiment of raw power and grace, and their appearance is simply majestic. While often referred to as the king of the jungle, they more accurately rule over the sprawling savannas and grasslands of Africa, and even a small pocket in India. But what makes lions so iconic? It's not just their stunning appearance. Lions are highly social animals, living in prides led by an alpha male and an alpha female, making quite a dynamic duo. It's like having a king and queen co-ruling the animal realm, but with a lot more fur and ferocity. However, under that wonderful fur and charismatic roar, these cats are quite dangerous. In fact, they're included in the top 10 deadliest wild animals in the world. On average, they cause around 200 human deaths every year. They love hunting in packs and going after big game, so even mighty mammals are afraid of them. Unfortunately, whenever they cross paths with humans at the wrong time, it doesn't usually end well for us. Lions embody a dangerous combination of physical strength, instinct, and lightning speed. They've got muscles to spare, instincts that trigger aggression if their pride is threatened, and they can outrun almost anything. So if you ever come face to face with them, respect and caution are highly recommended. Needless to say, there isn't an abundance of stories where lions are the heroes, which makes today's story that much more special and incredible. Our story takes place in Ethiopia, near the town of Bidaganet, which is around 350 miles southwest of Addis Ababa, which is the country's capital. In June 2005, a 12-year-old girl would be kidnapped by 7 men. But this wasn't an ordinary kidnapping. It was a desperate attempt to force a young girl into marriage. At this point, the girl had been missing for a week. Her ordeal would have sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest people. Sergeant Wandaimu Wedajo, the police officer in charge of the search for the girl and investigation, recounted the horrors the young girl suffered during those 7 days. She had been repeatedly beaten, and she had experienced a lot of cruelty. The situation was bleak for her, and it seemed that all hope was lost. But little did anyone know that the girl's saviors were nearby, and no one would have guessed that they would be shaped like lions. 3 lions appeared where the girl was being kept, and in a crazy turn of events, the trio of apex predators chased the girl's kidnappers. Understandably, the men ran and scattered, leaving the girl behind. As it turns out, the 3 lions guarded the girl for half a day until she was found by the police. Sergeant Wandaimu was part of the rescue mission, and he witnessed how the 3 lions stood guard around the girl. When they saw the officers approaching, they went back to the forest. For the people watching, it was as if the lions understood what they were doing. It felt like they were carrying out justice by saving the girl. Their intervention was nothing short of a miracle, which is why it's such a great story. If they hadn't shown up, it's easy to imagine that the girl's fate could have been even worse. Very sadly, the kidnapping of young girls is a long-standing marriage custom in Ethiopia. The United Nations estimates that over 70% of marriages in the country are the result of abductions, primarily practiced in the rural areas where the majority of the nation's 71 million inhabitants reside. But what prompted these usually aggressive carnivores to play the role of protectors instead of predators? What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Stuart Williams, a wildlife expert from the Rural Development Ministry, offered a very interesting insight into this. He suggested that the girl's cries due to the trauma she was suffering may have sounded similar to the mewing sounds of lion cubs. And In the world of lions, where family bonds are strong, this similarity could have been the key to their out-of-character behavior. Lions have created a fearsome reputation for themselves, but despite that, they're the national symbol in Ethiopia. This is why they're featured on the local currency, and they often adorn statues. What they did for this kidnapped girl certainly adds to their appeal in the eyes of locals. Now, after the 12-year-old girl was rescued, she was understandably in a state of shock and fear. She was treated for her injuries, and she eventually recovered nicely. As for her kidnappers, 4 of them were arrested by the police, but the other 3 managed to avoid justice. It's not the most satisfying ending to the story at all, but this still is a story about resilience, bravery, and compassion that has resonated with many throughout the years. The heartwarming story of the lion's heroic intervention and the horrible kidnapping of this girl spread like wildfire, captivating the imaginations of people around the world. The story was so unbelievable that it seemed like it was taken right out of a fairy tale, where the forces of good and nature were able to overcome human darkness and cruelty. But, like any good story, this one had its skeptics. A lot of people just didn't believe that's exactly what happened. Some experts in the field of lion behavior also questioned how credible it was, so they proposed alternative explanations for the lion's actions. According to them, the lions may not have been acting as guardians, but rather as opportunistic predators. They believe that they actually intended to attack the girl, but when the police and rescuers arrived, they were interrupted and they fled. Another interesting theory shared by experts was that the lions changed their minds because the cries of the girls were similar to the mewing of lion cubs, as mentioned before. This would make the lions think that the girl was one of their own, so they wouldn't have attacked her. When it comes to animal behavior, especially of wild animals, there's always more than meets the eye. The behavior of lions, which is influenced by instinct, territory, and social dynamics, can be extremely challenging to decode or explain. All this to say that we may never fully understand what motivated those 3 lions to do what they did that day. But one thing is certain: their presence and actions saved the girl, and they make for a truly captivating, heartwarming story. Despite the skepticism of experts, no one can deny the emotional impact of this story. It serves as a nice reminder of the complicated relationship that we have with the animal kingdom. We're all a part of the same ecosystem, and nature can often show a great capacity for compassion and even empathy. These unexpected moments completely go over the boundaries that separate us humans from other creatures that share our environment. We invite you to reflect on this story and celebrate the courage of that young Ethiopian girl who survived a horrible experience and became a symbol of strength. Also, let's celebrate lions, the guardians who showed so much grace by deciding, for whatever reason, to protect a vulnerable creature. Also, let this story serve as a reminder of how incredible nature is, and how much it deserves to be respected and protected. It is important to note that lions are not safe out there in the wild, and they suffer from poaching, loss of habitat, trophy hunting, and more. 100 years ago, the lion population was 200,000. Today, the number is roughly 20,000. In the last 20 years, 42% of lion species have vanished, and lions have lost around 85% of their historical habitat. That's why lion conservation is so important. It's already making a big difference in the stabilization and increase of lion populations, which is great news for lions and us, as these beasts play a very important role in the food chain. Spreading the word and helping raise awareness can be very helpful for the organizations dedicated to this important effort. In the end, whether it was by miracle or by instinct, this story of 3 lions saving a kidnapped Ethiopian girl will continue to inspire and captivate us, reminding us that in the wild and unpredictable stage of life, compassion can sprout from even the most unlikely sources. Don't forget to subscribe to Wonderbot Animals, and we'll see you in the next episode.